Here's another question for you guys. Can you tell us about a design refresh where you were really excited about the result of it?
Well, design refresh that we recently did, it's still waiting to go live, is they've been our client for quite a while. It's Gulf Base, and we actually did we created a new database for them, and we rebranded they're called Blue Value, and we've did a logo for them, and the whole design is completely changed because it was this very corporate, very sort of square looking look and feel, and now it looks, the whole look and feel is it's sort of diving deep into the ocean. There's turtles and sea life, and there's parallax effect. And the thing is, what I really love about the site is that there is so much content in this database, so much that when we looked at it initially, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It was just insane, and I was like, how am I going to do this? But the solution that we came up with was actually really nice. We developed these really cool filters, and instead of just having sort of drop-down filters, it starts a conversation. So it asks you who you are, what you're doing on the site, and then the drop-downs almost form part of a sentence, which is so nice. Oh. So I'm really looking forward to that going live. It's really, really cool. It's a very good way of showing that you can have so much content, and the most logical thing is just put it in a list and another list and another list. But instead of doing that, we decided to look at the user experience, start a conversation with the content that we have, and actually categorize it so that it feels very, very beautiful and very accessible. So it feels like a conversation rather than just reams and reams of copy. It feels like the site is revealing itself to you when you need it to be revealed. So it's starting these small bits of engaging conversation, and then only when you want to does it give you the information. So I think that was just so much fun, and yeah, I love that.
And what a cool example of like using what you already have. Like you have all of this content, you're not reinventing the wheel, but you're thinking about how people are going to access it, how they're going to interact with it, and also how it's going to like look and how it's going to present itself. Really neat example of building on what you already have, which is obviously lots and lots of material to work with.
Yeah, and I think that it can be so tricky, because the one thing that a lot of times happens in a website is that the homepage will just look stunning. Everything will be accessible, and the navigation works, and the content just looks like amazing. And then you go to the about page, and it's just copy and no imagery, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's like they just designed the homepage and no one thought about the rest of the website. So I think it's so important that we make sure that we consistently consider every page for the user, and not just this amazing homepage with this beautiful big bold imagery, super accessible, and then about page is just gone.
What I've found very helpful in some of the maintenance conversations we've had around those things is analytics and having data available to show people, hey, you might think that everybody starts on your homepage, but that's actually not true. And it might not be the best place to spend your time and energy, because actually only 5% of your traffic ever spends more than a second on it.
Such a good point.
And data to prove it,
Very good point. Very. Yeah.
I would have never imagined that either. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have good traction with your content, then you might be the biggest hit is just one really amazing article that everybody refers to, and it gets like a lot of press. That could be your anchor, and and we've seen that with other clients too. It's like it's not the homepage, it's this one very specific thing that they might have talked about, or that type of thing. And so it's one of your what other people may call secondary pages. It's really the primary show, like that is really the rock star page that you need to take a look at. So I mean, I think that's one of the interesting things too, is when you get into maintenance is as you build new tools, or as you design new things, where can you use those across the site? Where can you implement something that can be used maybe across a lot of different page types and that type of thing? So it's trying to also see where do you get the most bang for the buck and for the time spent. So it's really kind of thinking about that was a great idea for this page over here. It could be totally great over here as well. And it has that long-term conversation instead of like, sometimes at the initial projects, you're like, oh no, we have to control time and budget, and that's good. And you still have to control time and budget on maintenance, but you can say, oh wow, I have a vision for where this can be in 3 months. So it's a different type of, it's a yes mind frame instead of like the no, that not right now mind frame. Well, that can come up too, but really it helps you plan for the future really nicely, I think.
It ties back into what you guys were saying about audits as well, like getting to know the site, where are the users going, what do they need to do. You don't want to spend time doing all these incremental changes or big, wonderful changes if that's not part of the journey that they're taking.
Yes.
I mean, that's part of the maintenance story that, you know, particularly when we're bringing on new clients, but also clients who have been with us for a while and we're talking about, you know, is it time to change or not? And the, you know, or rebuild or whatever. And I think, you know, just highlighting what you said there, Aimee, a good maintenance, a site that's well maintained actually allows you to have a yes mindset. It allows you to say, yeah, we can try that now. We don't have to wait until the new build. We can try something, or we can test it, or hey, that worked well there. Let's do that again. But if your site's not kind of, if your foundation isn't solid, the yes mindset becomes a maybe mindset, or in a worst case scenario, like maybe next year mindset, which is really, you don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, really, we all want to make sure that the complete we, us and the client teams, are going to make cool stuff together. I mean, that's getting into that yes mindset, and maintenance takes away those hurdles, right? It takes away the speed bumps. It really makes things a much smoother ride. So it's a good thing. Yeah.
Cool.